everyone, welcome back to Clues by Sam. So, if you are new here, we play Clues by Sam on this channel. It's a daily puzzle and there are 20 people, often only people on a board, but I can see we have a few birds today. And they are gonna be either criminals or innocents, and we get to figure out what they are using the clues that they give us. Not even the criminals lie, it's pure logic, and you can play along with me by checking the link in the description. And if you're not new here and you're wondering why the channel has changed names and my handle has changed, then you can check the other video I post today called Rebranding, where I talk about that. Let's start today's. I'm sad that it's a Friday and we have another tricky one. I wish we had a hard one, but I may bite my tongue by saying that. It's the last day of the month. Let's see how this goes. We start today with Cheryl telling us that there are exactly 2 instances below Martin. So there's 2 people below Martin. Both of them have to be innocents. That's quite easy. And we get 2 new clues. Steve says that in a number of instances above Vera, neighbor Martin. So there's 2 people above Vera, the neighbor. Oh, there's 3 people above Vera, the neighbor Martin. And a non-number of those have to be innocents. It could be only one of them or all 3. We don't know yet. Let's see what Davy says. Exactly 1 innocent in between Betty and Vera is neighboring Kay. Okay. So there's 3 people between Betty and Vera, right? And all of those 3 people neighbor Martin as well. So that makes only 1 instant neighboring Martin. Is that it? Oh no, we're talking about Kay. So 1 instant in between Betty and Vera. Kay is also in between Betty and Vera. So Pip has to be an instant in this case. Not Pip. Not Pip. But Gus and Pip both have to be opposites because both of them are in between Betty and Vera and both of them neighbor Kay. So we do know that only 1 innocent neighbors Martin, and what we get from those clues is that Kay is a criminal. I hope that made sense for you. I don't need Savvy's clue anymore because I have tagged Pip and Gus, and I don't need Steve's clue either because we know there's only 1 innocent here neighboring Martin. So Kay says that only 1 of the 3 criminals neighboring Martin is on the edges. Where's Martin? Again. So we know there's 3 criminals total neighboring Martin, and the first 2 are here in column B. The third one is gonna be in column D here on the edge. That makes Helen an innocent. And Helen tells that all instances below Eve are connected. So there's 4 people below Eve. We know that there's gonna be 1 criminal here below her, who is neighboring Martin, and 2 innocents. So let's say that Ivan and Nick were innocents. Could it be that Thor is a criminal? It could. It could. Could it be that Nick is a criminal? No, because then we would have 2 innocents who are separate below Eve. So we need, and we also, could we have Ivan be a criminal? We could. Because it could be that both Nick, Thor, and also Zed were all instances. In that case, all of the instances below Eve would be connected. So what we know here is that Nick has to be an instant. We still don't know if either Ivan or Thor are a criminal in this case. So we tag them as opposites and we don't need Helen's clue anymore. I guess we do, because if Zed ends up being an instant, we know that Thor has to be one as well. And we don't need Kay's clue. Nick says there's an odd number of instances below Betty. Okay, so we know there's 1 instant here below Betty, and there's only 1 more person, Vera. If she were an instant as well, we would have 2 instances neighboring her, or not neighboring her, but below her. And that's not the case, so we need Vera to be a criminal. Vera now says that column B is the only column of exactly 2 instants. So we need a second instant in column B, and it has to be Betty. Now we leave that clue there because it might be that column D ends up with 2 instants. And we have to make a third one connect somehow. Actually, we do know that column D is gonna have 3, right? because whoever is a criminal here, neighboring Martin in column D, is gonna force the person above or below them to be a criminal as well, and there's gonna be a total of 3 innocents, so that we don't end up with 2. Betty now says that only one of the 2 criminals neighboring K is in column A. So K has 3 people in column A neighboring them, and 2 of them are gonna be criminals. So let's say those are Freya and Joy, the pig. Then she has 1 criminal neighboring her in column A, so it could be Freya, then Joy and Olga would be, but there's 2 criminals total neighboring her. So the second one is either Gus or Pip, which makes Martin an innocent. Sorry about that. We still don't know who the criminal is here, though. Martin now says there's an odd number of criminals in column A. Okay, we just saw that there's 1 here and 2 innocents. Could column A end up with 3 criminals? That would work for Betty. That would work for K. But it wouldn't work for column A having more than 2 innocents, which it needs because Vera says that column B is the only one with 2 innocents. So we need both Uma and Austin to be innocent so that column A has more than 2 innocents and an odd number of criminals. If any of these 2 people were criminals, we would end up with 2 criminals, and that's an even number. So Uma and Austin are both innocents. Don't need Martin in school anymore. Uma says that only 1 person in row 3 has exactly 3 criminal neighbors. That's interesting. Because we know it's not Nick. We know it's not Martin. Kay has way more. Oh, I'm looking at innocents and the clues talking about criminals. Let's go back. We know it's not Nick because Nick has only 1 criminal neighbor. Martin has 3, right? K, a second one here, and a third one here in column D. So, K. Oh, we know the total for K, it's 2. But Joy couldn't have 3. So, Joy, that has 1 here. Oh, I'm ignoring K. I was confused because I was like, it's gonna end up. K is a criminal that neighbors Joy, and even though she's in row 3, we shouldn't ignore her. So so Joy already has 2 criminals confirmed in column B. So Joy already has 2 criminals confirmed in column B. That means that she couldn't have either Freya or Olga be a criminal neighboring her, because that would give Joy 3 criminals. So we need Joy to be the criminal that neighbors K in column A, and that makes both Freya and Olga innocents. Now Freya gives us a new clue. There's an odd number of criminals in column D. Interesting. Because all innocents below Eve are connected. So it doesn't really matter if Ivan is a criminal and Eve is an innocent. Because Eve being an innocent doesn't need to be connected to the innocents below her because she is not below her. So to make a non-number of criminals, and it also doesn't matter if Ivan is an innocent. Oh, it does. It does. Thor couldn't be a criminal. We know that now. Because we need to end up with an odd number of innocents. An odd number of criminals, sorry. And we know there's only 1 criminal. Let me think about this, because I'm not sure. Yeah. If all of these people here, if column D ends up with 3 criminals, which is an odd number, that would make 2 innocents in column D. And we know that column B is the only column with 2 innocents. So we need only one criminal to be below Eve, and we need Eve to be an innocent. And that makes Thor an innocent as well. I hope that made sense. So Thor has to be an innocent, Ivan has to be a criminal, and Zed is an innocent as well because of all of that. Thor now says that only one row has exactly 2 innocents. It's row 3. So that means that row 2 couldn't have 2, and we need one more. That has to be Gus, which makes Pip or less criminal. Okay. Very good. Only 10 minutes. Nice. It wasn't hard, but it was actually tricky. I like the word tricky because it does represent what it is, but it's also the difficulty. Sometimes I want to say that a specific clue was trickier than others, and I get a little bit confused in my mind. But I enjoyed the puzzle. A nice Friday. Hope you guys are having a good kickoff to your weekend and a nice rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow for more Clues by Sam. So, bye bye.